It's none of that public tea.
No, no, you can.
It's from Hunan.
Oh, beautiful.
From Hunan.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So you have to point that out one more time because it's so delicate.
All right, now here is the two leaves and a bud that you would pluck for fine plucking if you were going to make most green teas or black tea. Oolong you would pluck more. It would be more like two leaves and a branch.
Oh my goodness.
You see. But that's because you need the larger leaf for oolong manufacture. But this is fine plucking right here, and most hand-plucked teas will use that peco and orange peco leaf, and there's the bud, which is not yet a real leaf. It hasn't developed its chlorophyll.
My goodness.
Therefore, when you fire it, when you dry it, it's not going to turn brown or black the way these would once dried. It'll just be khaki colored. It'll be tawny, and they call it tip because you see, it's the tip end of the growing shoot. That's the business end of the tea bush. All of its nutrients and caffeine and everything, it's sending toward that growing bud.
My goodness.
First off, perhaps my first thought is, what does it take to wow you after the 4 or 5 years that you've been interested in tea? What does it take to impress you, or what does it... You've had so many experiences with tea. What is the thing that you're... Is there a holy grail that's not yet found for you? And second, barring that, then what?
What I love is, in many ways, most easily found in the humblest leaf. What I love about tea is perfectly expressed, for instance, in Nilgiri black tea, which is very humble and calls no attention to itself. It's almost self-effacing. There isn't any flamboyant flavor of some kind to captivate you. And in order to love that Nilgiri black tea, you have to truly love that plant, that leaf. And there it is, unadorned and simple. If you can love that, you love tea. You can always find flamboyantly aromatic oolongs and jasmines and teas of every description, which are easy to love. Can you love the humblest?
What takes someone from feeling that Lipton or PG Tips or whatnot is okay? What flips them into the kind of person who ruffles through open bins of tea and starts having a palate to care about?
Usually it's because each one teaches one. It's because somebody met somebody like you, or me, or Jackie, and had tea with us. That's what it takes. Often that's all it takes, and you're off on a lifetime adventure.
Tea is not an especially new drink, but in America it is played second fiddle forever to coffee. It feels, and perhaps it's just maybe our recent excitement with tea ourselves, it feels that there are more people trying more types of tea than ever before, and it feels like perhaps a new renaissance, perhaps for the person who consumes tea. You've been in this space a while. what are the sort of waves of tea that you've witnessed, and is this, am I right, is that where we're headed, or is that just...
That's where we are. That's where we are. It not only feels like a renaissance of tea in America, it is. And in fact, we have become the most interesting tea market, the most interesting tea scene in the world. In Japan, you have the Japanese teas and the Japanese ways of tea. And in England, you have the English. Here you have them all, you see, and they're all thriving. The soaring popularity of Japan tea in the last 5 years has done nothing to diminish our fondness for English breakfast. You see, there's more English breakfast being enjoyed, sold, drunk, than ever before also. So we Americans declare no allegiance to any one tea tradition. We embrace them all, and we say, bring them on.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel about the different ways that teas are now coming about? So there's the ready-to-drink, pre-bottled. There's the, the iced chais, and there's the now different kinds of companies are coming up with different kinds of bags, biodegradable bags, all that different kinds of stuff. Do you feel that it in any way ruins the experience, or do you feel like whatever the entry point is for someone is good as long as they're drinking tea or getting into it?
I am in favor of tea in every form. I have no quarrel with any of it. And just because it doesn't please me is perfectly beside the point. When you manufacture tea in the orthodox fashion, you come up with whole leaf, broken leaf, fannings, and dust. Now, if it's good tea, the whole leaf will be good, and so will the broken leaf and the fannings and the dust. But you have to find a market for all of these things, you see. The fannings and the dust belong in tea bags, and so forth. So all forms of tea have to find a market, and I really doubt that many people are going to get very excited, turned on to tea, drinking some ready-to-drink bottle on the side of the highway. However, stranger things have happened, and I crave those bottles of tea on the side of the highway, and I'm awfully glad they're there for others too. The American tea scene right now is that it is smaller than it will be this time next year. And it will be, we're now verging on around, I guess, 10 billion a year for annual total tea sales, etc. Well, it shows what an old-timer I am that I tell you that the total tea market in the U.S. was not even $500 million when I wrote my first tea book. Now, that was 30 years ago, you see. Now, if you can name another American comestible that has expanded by 20 times, you see, a lot of things have come, but only tea has equaled wine. When you think about it, 30 years ago, we were not a wine-consuming society, and today we are. just as France or Italy or Spain are wine-consuming societies. America also is now. Do we all drink it? No, of course not. Not all Japanese drink tea, but the point is, Japan is also a tea-consuming society, and we are becoming one. In point of fact, we are on the verge of replacing Japan as the 5th largest consumer nation.
You've likened it to wine a few times, and you've mentioned that, in between tea is wine for you.
Yeah.
Is it the kind of people who like wine are the kind of people who start seeking all different types of wines, and they make it a pursuit? Is that the same?
Yes, there is that element to it. And then there's also, don't forget, the element of your daily ally. A Frenchman or an Italian is going to drink wine every day, whether it's wine worth pursuing or not. He's going to sit down to lunch and ask where it is. That's part of life, you see. And so it should be. It doesn't always call for comment. Sometimes if it is wet and goes down the right way, that's all you can ask. Connoisseurship is the leading edge, but it's just comradeship, the comradeship of the leaf or the grape, which is the human anchor of this love that has persisted in both cases for thousands of years.
Back when you wrote your first book, did you envision that it would become a $10 billion industry?
Oh, of course not. I didn't even realize it. I didn't even think of it as an industry. It was like the pursuit of solitary eccentrics like myself, who would be so extravagantly refined that they would actually seek out a better kind of Formosa oolong. How many of us were there? Soon after my book appeared, I was reproached by a New York matron who said, now you've written about Lapsang Souchong, the last wasp secret. What have you done, you see? The last wasp secret. So I thought that was a valid criticism. I had done so.